Alright, I want to talk about combat for a minute. This game has a really, really excellent, in-depth combat system with loads and loads and loads of options, all kinds of effects, all kinds of powerful moves that you can choose from with their own advantages and disadvantages. A fairly complex elemental system with quite a few different elements, making sure every pet potentially has its use here, every one of these summons, theoretically. You could build untold breadths of different teams. But those of you who've played the game know that most of what I said is not exactly true. Conditionally true, let's put it that way. So, looks like those two are currently on a quest. Let's address... I was thinking about it and how to unlock the full potential of this combat system, and we just have to address a few small problems. The first problem is the raw base numbers themselves. Most of this is entirely irrelevant. You're not going to go into battle with a goblin on your team right now, not to fight, because what would happen? Well, we'd go over here, we'd fight the dead bird, he would do absolutely no damage, and then he would get one-shotted. So, in fact, currently, there are really only 2 summons that are relevant to combat. Yeah, I know. I'll get to why you'll have a full party, but the rest of the party, there's no strategy involved at all, really. It's just these 2 guys. Because they're the only people with high enough attack and defense to be relevant. My main character is going to surpass them eventually. He's a growing boy. He'll get there. So at the moment, I guess we could call him relevant. So, now that we have something that can actually hit for damage... Oh wait, not yet we don't. So, the rest of it is just going to be stuffing it with things that increase their stats. We're going to throw on a title, of course. Just for curiosity, let's see how it looks with the title. Not much better. So we go along, and we fill in, and these do not add any depth to the strategy. All we're doing is just grabbing, okay, who's got the biggest numbers? If we had more slots up here, I'd have a team already preset. And it would just be, bam, 140%, 160%. Here's another 60%. There's a few other small things I could do, but it doesn't matter what these are. It doesn't matter that a lesser river and stats are completely irrelevant. We're just grabbing the bonuses here. We'll take the hand. Okay. And suddenly we're doing great damage. Alright, now for the final depth of strategy is we basically just put the weakest crap up front and try to give them attacks that are as quick as possible. Usually we go for sharp spikes. I'm too lazy at the moment because I'm just making an example. Because these guys are going to die forced and absorb hits so that these guys can get more attacks down here. This is the sum total of strategy in this game, just about. I can add in a formation. That's about it. And then I walk away. But what about all the additional effects? What about the equipment we could layer on that adds in additional elements and effects and things? That only really matters on these 2. I can equip the Holy Light on this one. I could equip it with the Magic Wand if I really wanted to. So, the first problem is the raw stats. Let's stick to that for the moment. Just the numbers themselves, and all of these people being utterly pointless in battle. I guess the Gravekeeper Ghoul could be used in the fight too, but you put him up at the top and he wouldn't help as much because he'd die really early in the fight. He'd get off one shot. It's not much. But what about all these other pets? What if we wanted to actually use the forest fairy with water, wind, and earth element? Or what if we wanted to try bringing in the phantom whale here? He has light element, which is fairly rare. What if we wanted a team of people who had light magic? There's only like 3 of them. Well, currently you can't do that, but this one at least, there's a super easy fix. The only thing we'd need to do to enable making all of these potentially interesting would be to have an ability you could purchase somewhere that lets you choose 2 pets and highlight them, and their stats become the same as the main character. That's it. You want to use Norn? Oh, her stats are too low. Boom. She'd have the same stats as you. Then you highlight the flower fairy for some reason. Boom. It's relevant. And then you'd be able to use them in combat. I think that would be a super simple solution that would allow you to suddenly be able to use any character from here, any of them, in combat directly. So now we come to the next problem with the combat system. The next reason we're not using its full depth. I should show. So we have a hell of a lot of skills, and they have a lot of very interesting added effects. Why am I not actually using the added effects? Occasionally I'll use something specific. Well, part of the problem is in there's two flaws. There's two obstacles. The first is the formations. A lot of these effects are locked into a specific formation. So I can't do AoE Drain or Blessing unless Magic Formation is active. But if I want to have a move on one character that penetrates and another character adds an attack attachment to boost them, I can't run both formations at once. I can only run one or the other. Worse, if I leave it grinding on a boss and I have a build set up where you're going to attack, boost, penetrate, whatever else you're going to do, the formation goes away, and it's 3 minutes before the formation can activate again. And you can't have multiple formations checked either. You can only leave it walk away set to one formation. So these formations only really work during boss fights, or you can use it grinding. You can just set everybody to have AoE attacks and drop it in Magic, and sometimes that will speed up grinding. That's the first obstacle. Honestly, I would say just free these from the formations entirely. I would literally cut these just work. It doesn't matter what formation you're in. If you have penetrate, you penetrate. You don't need a formation. You might then be able to attach one of these effects to a formation somehow. Just some ability that doesn't currently exist. So let's say you wanted friendly formation to always be lucky. So over here, friendly formation, you'd somehow attach lucky. Whenever friendly formation is active, you would always get the luck effect. I think, and the techniques themselves, though, none of the techniques would care what formation you're in. They would just work. That would give you the ability to build around different things, and it would continue functioning even when the formation is over. Your build wouldn't be dependent on your build. You don't want a build that only works for 30 seconds every 3 minutes. So just detach all of those effects from the formations. And you can keep the formations relevant how I suggested with, attaching stuff to them. Anyway, I hope I'm making some semblance of sense here. So the next thing, I can skip over the equipment. The equipment is actually fine. There's no problems with the equipment currently, other than it's a little bit too grindy to build them up, but that's fine. I'm not bothered by that. So there's one other real problem. I kind of don't like the all stats boosts at all. It's so built into the game, I don't think you could remove it, but you might as well just say that all stats are it's like Gravekeeper Ghoul, 160% to all stats. It doesn't matter if it's in your party or not, is what I'd say. Like, this just forces you to constantly swap what's in your party between builds, and it basically forces you, when you're in battle, to build a party that's just all around boosting your stats as much as possible. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a, it decreases the amount of interesting builds that you could have, because you're just going with, alright, who's got the biggest number? Gravekeeper Ghoul, 160%, he's in. Skeletal Warrior, 140%, he just goes in. Like, you could have... Anyway. I think it actually becomes a restriction that limits your options. Just the existence of these all stats boosts. But it's not a super big issue. The biggest issue, after we fixed the added effects and allowed you to have a full diversity of using whatever summon you want, a couple of whatever you want, and then you'll have the most recent, most powerful ones. You have a full party of 5 there going for you. Okay. We go to fight in the Poison Swamp. Okay. Well, Skeletal Warriors here, they're a warrior and an earth. They're going to be weak to, wind. This one over here, the Gravekeeper Ghoul, he's got dark element, so we might want a light element attack. No, you can't build like that. Each of your guys only can equip one move. So if you wanted to fight the Gravekeeper Ghoul with light element attacks, well, I've got a light element attack on my Sacred Bird Chick, but the Sacred Bird Chick is just as likely to hit the Overdose Lizard. It's not going to hit this Gravekeeper Ghoul. The Overdose Lizard, maybe I wanted to use, some other attack specifically to kill those. The problem is, these are completely randomly assigned, and this goes through a fixed thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every single time. And why is there an elemental system if I can't actually use the elemental system in battle? I can't target their weak points or do anything. And this is the most difficult one to set, because it would require some actual stuff. You'd have to have a strategy. Maybe the formations could be a part of that, maybe not, I don't know. But you'd need to be able to set your guys to be like, okay, look, Obedient Berserker, you're going to be targeting this type of enemy preferentially. So when you have 5 enemies presented and it's the Sacred Bird Chick's turn, the Sacred Bird Chick doesn't target the top one, he targets the first Gravekeeper Ghoul it sees, because that's what you told it to hunt dark enemies. As long as there's a dark enemy on the board, it'll target that one first. I think if you could give a setting for each of them for preferred enemy, and one of the settings could just be attack the top enemy. The only thing about that that's still a problem is you kind of do just want to target the top enemy, because, look, I'm not giving them turns to hit me, because I keep killing them before they get a turn by targeting the top one. If anything, the battles would have to become slower. Like, everybody would have to have 10 times as many hit points. And I suppose that means that the reward would have to be 10 times as well. Obviously, bosses wouldn't be the same. But for regular enemies, you'd probably just have to make the gold, and the in this case poisoned weeds would have to be 30 to get through the whole swamp, and then everything on both sides 10x hit points, make it, it'd be much more of a slower, more thing. Like, we went through the swamp, it took 15 minutes to get through that hellhole, slogging through all of these battles. But that coupled with the ability to give your guys, orders, set them up back in the party, you Sacred Bird Chick, target dark enemies. Hadrix, target earth elemental enemies preferentially. Here, take Windblade as your move. Like, or one of them could be just attack whichever enemy is the most hurt. So that somebody will injure their preferred target and everyone else will just dogpile it. However, but that would bring the tactical depth of this game out. That would bring out the tactical potential in this game. Because all of this stuff here that I'm just not using, and it's really sad that I'm not using any of this. A little bit here and a little bit there, but I don't care about most of these. Why do I care about toughness boosts when, honestly, most of the time when I'm fighting bosses and enemies that are really powerful, we're just going to get one-shotted anyway. The toughness is not going to stop us from being one-shotted. Now, the 10 times hit point thing would make it matter. A lot of these... A lot of these, like, it's nice and all, but I like AoE. I think this is the one I use the best of all of them, is specifically AoE, and of course anything that boosts drop rates are great currently. Yeah, I think that this game, I think there's a great deal of strategic potential in what's already here with just these few adjustments. And I hope I made some sense. I hope I was comprehensible and not just rambling blindly. Just like, I've been thinking about this in the shower, guys, and then just blurt out a bunch of random bullshit that's incomprehensible here. Yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I don't want to be hard on this game. I know that it's still in development, that we're still basically we're basically playing the beta at this point, as new areas and new content is constantly being added. So I'm sure that anyway, the developers probably been thinking about a lot of this already. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents. I just wanted to give my 2 cents. Alright then.